So I didn't make it a secret that I was disappointed with Nintendo for not adding an Ethernet port to the dock when we saw the Switch's dock unveiled, and we saw behind it and all the ports, USBs of course, but no Ethernet port, and that kind of bothered me. That was kind of a disappointment because I usually like to wire my systems in when I'm using them on my TV because I'm close enough to do so with my router, but at least they give us the option. Of course, it is more money, but at least they give us the option. We're not completely locked out if we want to wire our device in this case, our Switch. So they want us to buy an Ethernet adapter of some kind. This would be a straight USB to Ethernet. What they do is it runs to our USB connection, and then there is a conversion in here, and then it runs right out to an Ethernet port. And there are quite a few of these. In fact, some of these actually are cheaper than others. Some are more expensive, like the Switch's Ethernet to USB adapter, whereas generic ones like this one that actually has no branding on it is pretty cheap. But of course the question is, which one of these is worth buying? Because again, you don't want to spend too much for something that's going to give you the same or less than performance of something that is not branded for Nintendo Switch. In this case, I figure we take a look and figure out which one makes sense for you guys to buy. Let's go over the ones I have here. I have a Pluggable USB 3.0 adapter. This is, again, USB to Ethernet. It's a very generic one on Amazon. It's about $15. That's after if you have it shipped or not. I think it was like $14.88 or something like that. We'll just say it's $15. We'll round up. The next one I have is a generic adapter. It's like a white generic adapter I've had since my Wii days, so like playing on the original Wii, I used this, and it helped out dramatically with the Wii U's performance online because doing something like downloading the Xenoblade Chronicles X texture packs went a million times faster with this little guy plugged in rather than going through wireless, so I was pretty happy about that. And then the last one we have is Hori's officially licensed Nintendo Switch USB to Ethernet adapter. Again, this is the one, if you go to Walmart, they stock these for the Nintendo Switch. So they're there. That's where I got this one from. It was about $27 at Walmart. Might even be $30 online. So this one is the highest priced one out of all of them. But I did some tests, and I figure we'll take a look and see which one gets you the best speeds. Also, you may be curious what actually comes in the box with this guy. I'll show you real quick. It's not a lot. It's the adapter in a pretty nice looking box. It's not like a bad looking box. It's pretty much the adapter and then some instructions. So there's not a lot in there. That's why I didn't really unbox it, because you open it up and that drops right out. Same with the Pluggable 3.0, and I can't even remember what the box looked like in this one because it's been so long. So first things first, I plugged my computer in, which it has a native Ethernet port on the back, gigabit Ethernet actually, plugged it in and ran a quick benchmark for the internet. This was over at Speed Test, and I got, well, first you're going to see a massive difference in my upload and download speed. That is Comcast for some reason. That's just how it is in my area. They give you a good bit of download speed, but then your upload speed is terrible. So it's pretty bad. This was plugged directly in, 30 milliseconds ping to the server I went to. I think I shot to the New York server, so that's not terrible to the New York server. At 120.47 megabits per second down, 6.04 megabits per second up. Again, that is just Comcast being Comcast. There's technically nothing wrong with my internet. They just badly bottleneck us on our upload speed. So the next step is to just get a baseline of what the Switch can do wirelessly with my router. It might be different with yours because it's weird. Routers seem to act differently with the Switch depending on what your brand is and how your settings are. All I did was connect mine, put the password in, and then run a quick speed test just to get an idea. This can be done in the settings for the Switch where you go down, hit internet settings, and then test internet. So this is what I got with my speeds. We have a download speed of 26.4 megabits per second, upload speed of 5.3 megabits per second. That is going through the wireless connection on the Switch. After that, I went ahead and plugged in the adapters to get started. All you really do is pop the door down, plug it into, in this case, the USB 3.0 port. The reason I did that, you could probably plug it into any of them. The reason I did that is because I actually have a USB 3.0 adapter, and then the other two are USB 2.0 adapters. I wanted to see if that USB 3 port would make a difference between them. I wasn't sure if they actually activated it, if it had more bandwidth. I figured this was a good test though. So what I did was I plugged them in there, closed the door, we're good to go. I want to point out a quick issue I did have with mine. At first it wasn't finding my Ethernet adapter. So what I ended up having to do was take the system off the dock. I turned it completely off, then plugged everything back in, then put this guy down on the dock when it was off, and then the Ethernet came to life after I turned it on at that point. So if it's not coming on, turn it all the way off, like turn off, and then plug it in after you have everything plugged up, and it should work fine then. The way you can tell if you're going through Ethernet, at the top right, there is actually a corded looking symbol at the top, and that should let you know, yes, you are plugged in through Ethernet, you're no longer through wireless. So here we go. The first one I tested was my generic white Ethernet adapter, and that gave me a pretty good score overall. It was definitely higher than wireless, which is to be expected because it's hardlined, but it gave me a download speed of 39.7 with an upload speed of 5.3. That's pretty good overall. Now, you might see my upload speed vary heavily because for some reason, upload with Comcast is weird. Again, I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, from there I jumped to the Hori adapter for the Switch, the officially branded one, by the way, that costs a good bit of money. That one yielded a result of 47.1 down, 4.9 up. That is an improvement. That's good. That's better than my $10 adapter, so great. Not that much better, but it's still a significant difference. Granted, these are not going to reach the 120 down that I'm getting out of my native Ethernet to router combo with my laptop, desktop, anything I run it on, because this is going through USB. So there's going to be a bit of conversion that I was telling you guys about that exists in this box. So it's not going to get the entire speed because it has to be converted, again, through USB, and then it has to go through that USB chip inside the system. And lastly, we had our USB 3.0 adapter. This is the generic one that is about $15. Plugged in, ran the test, and was happily surprised. The USB 3 port does seem to be active, at least to the point where it's providing more bandwidth if you use a USB 3 device. I scored a 72.8 down, 4.9 up. Again, I think that's just the best upload I can get for some reason. It seems to jump between 4.9 and 5.3 because I ran the test several times and just took the best score from each after like 3 runs, and it always seemed to go between 4.9 and 5.3. Don't know why that is. Anyway, USB 3.0 seems to work. So if you're thinking about getting a USB adapter, one, I guess I would probably recommend this one because it's like 15 bucks, gives you a much better result than the $27 to $30 Hori Nintendo Switch one, because this is a USB 2.0 cord, whereas this is USB 3. So of course you're going to get better results with something that can provide better bandwidth overall. Also, who knows, the conversion chip in here may be better than this one. But overall, yes, the generic pluggable 3.0 USB to Ethernet seems to be the best solution for the Switch. I'll put links in the description, guys. This Hori one is pretty easy to find. I wouldn't recommend it, honestly, at this point, just because really any USB 3 to Ethernet should work. I just know this one definitely works for the Switch, so I'll put it down below if you're looking to have a wired connection while you're docked. And what's nice, though, is what I could tell, when I would plug it into my dock, it would then switch over to that wired mode. So as long as you get it set up initially, going between the two is pretty quick. When you take it out, it takes a second to then jump to wireless, which is to be expected because it has to find it, pick it up, handshake, all that good stuff. But this one is on Amazon. It's Amazon Prime. It took 2 days to get here. It was like $14.88. I recommend this pluggable USB 3.0 if you want to be wired for your Switch. And that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you think about the different Ethernet adapters we talked to. You know what? This one actually held up pretty well. If you have one for your Wii or your Wii U that you were using, it's not going to be a massive change to go up unless you recognize your downloads are slower and you run that test and you realize you're getting a quarter of your download speed. Maybe consider going up to USB 3 just because the option's there on the back and it appears to be active. Thank you, Nintendo, for putting USB 3 on the back and actually activating it. That's great. So overall, yes, if you want a wired connection, if you want speedy downloads, I recommend that. If you're running wireless AC, you may still get good download, but nothing beats a wired connection even through USB. So let me know what you guys think down below. I'm very curious. Again, links are in the description if you want to check one of these out. Like I said, this one's 15 bucks, not bad. I will see you next time, though.